Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name's Em. If you don't know, now you know. Hi guys. How was your week? How was your multiple weeks? Who'd you see? What'd you do? Did you eat good food? So I haven't uploaded since, oh my god, not since my episode with Kendall, which I think was like middle of July. So we're going on like 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks of me not uploading. So sorry. Life got a little crazy. I did have a pretty brutal concussion. I still technically am conked, but my doctor's appointment today went a little bit better. So we're on the up and up again. But I did have a little bit of a concussion, and then I just had a pretty busy month. Like end of July, beginning of August was a little bit hectic, but we're here now. So how'd you guys like my episode with Ken? I had so much fun with it. I have so much fun every time she's here. Every single time we record it's just so much fun. She is like my favorite person in the whole world, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Everybody seemed to really like it. If you can hear my upstairs neighbors today, I am so sorry. I've been putting off recording for about 3 hours because they've been painfully obnoxious today, but they have not stopped, and I need to record today so that this can go up on Monday. Anyways, yeah, so sorry for not uploading for like 3 weeks, but yeah, I had a pretty decent couple weeks. I had one of my like childhood friends got married, not this past weekend. I guess this is going up on Monday. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before, first week of August, one of my childhood friends got married, and me and one of my childhood best friends actually emceed her wedding. So that was really fun. It was weird to realize and like recognize the fact that people that I grew up with are starting to get married. Makes me feel very old, but that's okay. What else is new in my life? My sister moves into my house tomorrow, so I guess by the time you guys are listening to this, she will have already moved in. Scary. It'll be fine. I just don't like the process of moving or moving other people, and I've lived alone for a year. And fun fact, Emily loves living alone, so it is going to be a bit of a change to live with somebody else, especially my sister, for a year. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, I stole the like little kick out thing from my couch to sit on today, and now I'm just realizing you can see that the cushion is just on the ground. We're a mess. I shouldn't be allowed to have a podcast anymore. Anyways, so yeah, we had the wedding, and my sister's moving in this weekend. I also have like my work barbecue this weekend, so that'll be fun. What else is happening? Honestly, nothing. I feel like my month has been insanely busy, but also I don't think I've done anything. So today, I really wanted to talk about why the way that you speak to yourself and the way that you speak in general matters and makes a difference. Let me preface, this is going to be slightly similar to the episode we put out a couple weeks ago now, where I was talking about acting like the person that you want to become. There is similarities in this, but this is like a specified thing of essentially like how you talk to yourself and how you talk about your surroundings, not just your actions. So here's the thing. If you say anything long enough or frequently enough, it'll eventually become true in whatever way that exists in your life. So I can't necessarily sit here and say, I'm going to become a millionaire. I could sit there and like I could repeat that every day of my life for the next 10 years. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be a millionaire, but little things like that can make me change my day-to-day actions that would result in me becoming a millionaire. Does that make any sense? Your brain, your little pile of spaghetti that's in your fucking noggin, your brain or your mind can't actually tell the difference between you telling yourself something as a joke or you telling yourself something as you being serious. Obviously, like I can sit here and recognize like, oh, I'm jokingly saying XYZ. Your brain knows that you're joking when you say it, but the way that your brain absorbs that information, there isn't a difference between me being, oh, this is a funny haha sentence that I'm saying, and oh, this is like a serious statement that I'm making. So if you speak negatively against yourself enough, whether that's internally or externally, and I mean that in like whether you are audibly saying, what's a negative thing you can say about yourself? My hair is ugly. Whether I'm saying that out loud to myself, like in the mirror, or I'm just thinking that in my brain. If you say it enough, your brain is going to start to believe it, even if you're saying it in a joking manner. So if I'm getting ready in the morning and I don't like the way my hair looks, I can jokingly say like, oh, my hair looks like shit, ha ha ha. Your brain doesn't realize that you're joking. Level of differentiate. What is that word? Differentiation? Differencing? Your brain can't differentiate between I'm saying this as a joke and there's no meaning behind it, and I'm saying this as a joke but I'm actually being serious. I think this also goes along with like manifestation, which I don't think we've ever done an episode on. If I'm being entirely honest, I don't use manifestation practices like in my day-to-day life almost ever. It wasn't something that I grew up with. Maybe that's because I grew up in like, I went to a Catholic school, went to church, all that shit. So I feel like I shouldn't structure that sentence that way, but that's fine. But anyways, I don't really use manifestation in my day-to-day life, but I do think it's really cool. So it is something that I want to talk about. Somebody add that to the running list of things that I've said that I wanted to make an episode about and then I haven't. Somebody has to have a list. I know that somewhere, someone out there has a list. Similar to when I was talking about acting like the person that you want to become, you also have to speak accordingly to that. If I have this big vision for who I want to become in life, and I have all of these, here's my like checklist of all of the things that the best version of myself would do. What's probably not included on that list is, talks negatively to herself. You know, if I had a whiteboard and I drew my little stick figure and I was like, here is top 10 characteristics of the person that I want to be in 5 years, or the person that I want to be in 10 years, or whatever. Guarantee ya, talks negatively to herself is not on that list. It wouldn't be in the top 20. It wouldn't be in the top 50. You know, it wouldn't be a characteristic that I defined with the most idyllic version of myself. So this goes along with that. You cannot create these huge expectations for your life and these huge intentions for your life. And you can sit there and do all of the actions that you need to do and make all of the physical changes that you need to be doing, sorry. But if you don't change the way that you are discussing your life, if you don't change the way that you are talking to yourself and about yourself, then it really doesn't fucking matter what that person, like who that person is and who you want to become. Because if you can't reframe your mindset and retrain yourself to not have this negative like monologue, I guess what? That best version of yourself is still gonna hate herself. If I, again, make my whiteboard, make all my characteristics, if I put on that list talks negatively about herself, okay, in 5 years when I am that person, I'm still gonna fucking hate myself, because regardless of where my position in life has changed, regardless of what I have done to advance myself in life, I'm still talking shit about myself on the regular. So then what does it really matter? Truly, like, what does that matter? So your words, regardless of if people think they are or not, your words are really powerful in your own life. And dialogue, like especially your internal monologue or your internal dialogue, largely influences how you perceive the real world, quote unquote real world. I'm not saying that the thoughts in your head are not part of the real world, but you know what I mean. So if I'm sitting here and we'll say my hair again. If I'm sitting here and I'm talking shit about how my hair looks that day, and then I go out in public and I hear a group of people laughing in the distance, you want to know what my little brain is going to do? My little brain is going to spin that into they're laughing at my hair because I think my hair looks bad. And now they obviously also think that my hair looks bad, because what else could they possibly be laughing at? First of all, delusional. Nobody cares that much about anybody else. But because your words have such an influence on how you perceive your reality, I'm gonna think that. Why do you think, like, people go through high school and university and just life in general, with the assumption that everybody around you is noticing your worst insecurities and they are pointing them out, or they are laughing at them, or they are noticing them. Guess what? They're probably not. They are probably really not. Do you know how many times I've been in public and looked at somebody and noticed their top insecurity? Probably not a whole lot, because it's not what normal and civil and nice people do when they see somebody in public. But when I go in public, I am constantly under the assumption that anybody who sees me, anybody who perceives my existence, is perceiving it as a negative thing because of the things that I'm insecure about. And that's because I let myself talk shit about myself, and you shouldn't do it. The way that you speak to yourself and about yourself becomes the basis of your self-concept and also your self-esteem, which, if you don't know what those are, I didn't know what self-concept was. Well, I kind of knew, but not really. Self-concept is a broad view of who we are physically, mentally, socially, and even spiritually. Self-concept is developed over time, and we learn to form and regulate our self-concept based on the knowledge we gain about ourselves and through others' input and feedback. And then self-esteem. Self-esteem is how we value and perceive ourselves. It's based on our opinions and beliefs about ourselves, which can be difficult to change. So, okay, have you ever, you know, when you're like scrolling on TikTok and you see somebody who's just like absolutely stunning. First of all, can we just talk about, I literally have a folder like in my or I guess it's like, what do they call them on TikTok? You know, when you save something and then you can put it like a category, whatever it is. I literally have like a whole folder of just TikToks of people that I think are absolutely stunning. And I'm like, this is who I want to look like. I want to look like you. I like this feature about you. I want that feature. I want my eyelashes to look like that, or I want, you know. Anyways, but a huge chunk of the time when I come across somebody on TikTok that I think is just like stunning, first of all of their TikTok or all of their comments are going to be flooded with people telling them that they're pretty or that they like the hair, whatever else. And you can just tell who like the super nice ones are, because they reply to every single comment and they're like, no, you're stunning, no, where'd you get this, blah blah blah, like as if this is just like a normal conversation that you're having with somebody who you've known for your entire life. This was a really long time ago. Like, this was probably like 2 years ago that I saw this TikTok. No chance that I'm gonna find it, but it was one of those situations. This girl posted, I don't even remember what the TikTok was, like what the original one was, posted this TikTok, and half of her comments were people telling her that she was stunning and all this, and the other half were people that were just being ugly people and like saying shit like, oh, she knows she's pretty, oh, like, does she have to flex the fact that she's pretty, does she have to make other people feel bad for the fact that she's pretty? So she replied to one of these comments, or like stitched it, whatever. In her reply, she was essentially talking about the fact that she feels as though she's pretty because she talks to herself like she's pretty. She talks to herself as if she thinks that she is what everybody else thinks she is, in the sense of like, when she posted that TikTok, people were telling her, you are stunning, you're gorgeous, whatever. So she's like, that's how I talk to myself in the mirror in the morning, because if I do anything else, I'm going to become more insecure about stuff that doesn't deserve to be insecure. And that was just, when I was like making all my notes for this episode, I was like, I forgot that I saw that. That was so long ago, but it seemed like a really good representation of people who have a good self-concept and self-esteem. It's not necessarily because they think they're all that and they think that they're better than anybody. Chances are it's not that. A good chunk of the time it comes down to the fact that they simply know how to speak to themselves. They know the appropriate way to talk to themselves. They know the best way to address issues that they're having with themselves. And that's what creates that self-concept. That's what creates that self-esteem that other people, you know, like, confidence is one of the things that makes people attractive. Somebody who is inherently confident in themselves, statistically, people find them more attractive because of the confidence they hold. And that's just part of it. It's the way that people talk about themselves and to themselves, and also understanding that the way other people speak about you doesn't have to reflect the way that you speak about yourself. So like with that, You know how people do like mantras every morning? Remember when I used to say like Monday mantras? They were never really mantras, but you know what I mean. People do recite mantras or little like speeches to themselves every morning, and I'll see TikToks of people teaching their kids, which I think is really sweet. I saw this TikTok of this mom who, I think it was like while they were brushing their teeth or something in the morning, but they were like going through this little sing-songy poem or song, however you want to classify it, of mantras that she was saying with her kid. And I was like, that is some of the coolest shit ever. One of the coolest things, even as somebody who like don't want kids, I've never wanted kids, you know, like that's not a part of my life plan, but it is really cool seeing how my generation and the generation above me parents in comparison to a lot of older parenting styles. And that was just like one thing that really made me think of that, is like people are really out here doing incredible jobs of setting their kids up to be confident and to be not even confident but secure in themselves, because confidence can, people like, there's sometimes a negative connotation that comes along with the word confidence, but a good sense of self and a good security in themselves from a really young age. So like I found like 2 TikToks that were like, here's your morning mantras to say to yourself. So this is just like examples of what people may say, like, okay, you're brushing your hair in the morning, or you're in the shower, or you're making breakfast, in brackets, originally in Hinduism or Buddhism, on bracket, a word or sound repeated to aid concentration in meditation. Okay. Or the second one, a statement or slogan repeated frequently. Which, okay, honestly, makes sense that it comes from Hindu or Buddhist cultures, because I feel like a lot of meditation practices come with that. And so whether or not you believe, I have a list that I'll read the list, but these are things that, like, whether or not you believe them in the beginning, whether or not you stand by that statement and you 100% believe that it's applicable to your life, eventually your brain is going to start to recognize them as fact, because again, your words have power, and the more you say something and the more you have, like, the more that you, I don't want to say believe, because I know I just said that you don't have to necessarily believe them in the morning or in the beginning, but the more that you start to recognize these things in day-to-day life outside of when you're just repeating them to yourselves, your brain is going to start recognizing them as fact. So do that. So here's a couple. I just found these on TikTok. I didn't save the TikToks that I found them from, so if somebody from TikTok comes at me and is like, you stole my morning mantras, sorry. Okay. I am the best. I can do it alone. Today is my day. I am a winner. I can do it scared. I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose positivity. I deserve good things, and good things are supposed to be for me. You can honestly, I just went on TikTok and I was like, morning mantras, and a bajillion TikToks came up. Everyone has a different list, so you can make your own, or you can go find some. I'm sure Google has some lists for them. Those are just things like that, these positive statements that, oh my god, I feel like I mention Jerry and Sierra all the time. The girls that run, or I guess the ladies that run Ladies and Tangents podcast, first of all, my favorite podcast almost in the entire world, but in like an old, I think this was like last year, Jerry was talking about, I'm trying to remember exactly how she said it. I'm highly favored by the universe, and good things happen to me, or something like that. Essentially, it was her telling herself, and this is something that she would say to her kids and to herself and to her partner, I'm highly favored by the universe, and good things are meant for me. Good things will happen to me. Good things that exist in life can exist for me. I think that one was a really good one. And it is something that I find myself like telling myself frequently. If I'm having like a really rough week, or I feel like the world is against me, I'm like, I am highly favored by the universe and good things will happen to me. And sometimes it works. So yeah, like envisioning yourself as the person that you want to become. If you haven't listened to that episode, I'll link it in the show notes, but go listen or go watch that episode because that was a good one. But yeah, envisioning yourself as the person you want to become also involves speaking to yourself the way you think that person would speak to you. So this goes back to the whiteboard. If your idyllic version of yourself doesn't have speaks negatively to themselves in the top like 20 characteristics, why are you talking shit about yourself? Truthfully, why are you talking bad about yourself? If you are going to go through day-to-day efforts to become a better person and become the person that you want to be, but then you're like actively talking shit, why? You are not benefiting anybody. You're not benefiting yourself. You're not benefiting your future self. You're sure as shit not benefiting anybody around you because you are going to be more miserable. So what are you doing it for? How is this beneficial to your day-to-day life, and how is this beneficial to the future that you want to build for yourself? It's simply not. I hate to break it to you. It's just not. I don't want it to come across like I sit here and I tell you, hey, you should do XYZ, and then I'm like this picture perfect. I do everything that absolutely not. 90% of the time, the shit that I'm telling you to do is stuff that I need to tell myself to actively work on, and that's why I make an episode about it, because then I have to I have to listen to myself talk for the half an hour, and then I have to edit it and listen to myself again, and then I have to listen to it in like a week from now when I'm re-listening to old episodes. Like 90% of the time, if I'm sitting here making an episode about something, it's not because I've figured it out. It's not because I am like the golden child of, hey, if you ever want to see somebody who talks really positively about themselves, don't come listen to this podcast because you're for sure not going to find that person here. I have never and will never guaranteed to be like this role model of somebody who only talks about shit that I do flawlessly. If anything, I find it more fun to talk about stuff that I'm bad at. You know what I'm bad at? Talking positively about myself and to myself. You know what I'm bad at? Being mindful in day-to-day life. What's the next episode going to be about? Mindfulness. So don't do it. Don't try and spin this to me being like, oh, she's trying to sound like she's better than us. I ain't better than nobody. I am the worst person for this. But it's something that I am actively trying to fix and actively trying to improve. So yeah, talk nice to yourself this week because you deserve it. And again, you are not benefiting anybody by talking shit about yourself. If anything, you are making your life more difficult. And why would you want to do that? Life's already hard. Why do you have to like add to it? You know? I don't know. Here's your homework for the week. If you catch yourself, especially I find in the mornings, this is applicable. I also like, obviously all day, this is something that's important, but I find that truly I am like the meanest to myself in the morning. And I think it correlates with the fact that like I go to the gym in the morning and then I sit in front of a mirror for an hour while I'm getting ready, and I am just hypercritical of everything about myself. So I try and do this, especially in the morning. You can do this whenever it best suits you. But yeah, either try to incorporate more positive mantras or positive thoughts about yourself this week, or if you find yourself having a negative thought or saying something negative about yourself, stop and find a way to spin it into something positive. Find a way to change your, what's that called? Find a way to change your criticism into a compliment for yourself and see how it goes. See how you feel by the end of the week. I don't know. Why does anybody let me talk for 20? Like, why is anybody still here? Anyways, that's all I've got for this week, guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you're still here, I appreciate you. Go follow me on Instagram, EBFit for my gym page, Hey for Mem for the podcast, Emily Brilliard for my personal. What else? Oh, we're on YouTube. I say it every week, and I'll continue to say it. So if you would rather watch your podcasts, link will be in the show notes. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I hope you guys have an incredible week. I hope that you find at least one opportunity this week to either A, say something good about yourself that maybe you don't frequently tell yourself, or B, change your criticism into a compliment. Find something negative that you want to pinpoint and swap it around. Make it a good thing. So yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you so much, and we'll chat next week.